So SOA choosing the map themselves. Now, this is out of Chinese tradition. Usually we will see the losing team going for first pick almost always. Instead, SOA going to be taking RPG to Sky Temple, where SOA have yet to win a game, but they seem to be wanting to play here.
Yeah, Sky Temple. Yeah, 0-3. I always think it's the job of casters, analysts, and viewers to indulge in and study statistics. As a pro gamer and as a pro team yourself, you have a lot more stats that the public never is privy to, which is that of your own practice. And stats with a sample size of 3 may seem significant to us sometimes, and they could be, but they also could not be. It's important as a competitor not to get carried away in the statistics and to believe in your own strengths. In this case, SOA decides to take RPG to Sky Temple, which gives the first pick, first ban to RPG.
Yes, it does. So, what are they going to go for? Are we going to see Genji maybe even slipping his way into the game for the first time? The Ariel ban out again. They seem to once again be looking to pick up that first pick Uther.
Yeah, Ariel ban, Uther pick was their strategy last game. It ended up paying off in some way.
Yeah.
I
They
believe
did
it
win
was
the game.
I believe it was the Genji ban by SOA in last map.
It was, yes. The thing is, banning out Uther would simply limit their own options as well. They basically sort of just have to let that go unless they feel comfortable with all the other supports that could be played.
Now, I think the Chinese region seems to consider Ariel as the top 3 supports, with Genji and Abathur being the other 2. If that's true, and one of the teams bans one of those 3, you would do well not to ban the other, so that you get to have one of them. If that is true. Now, SOA says that they do not abide by these rules. And if we see the Uther pick here, then RPG says we do believe in that, which is a difference of opinion that can only be resolved on the battlefield. SOA was very happy with the Dahaka and Greymane, so they don't think it's such a solidified top 3 pick ban priority.
Indeed. So, we're going to see that first pick Uther, once again, like we said, continuing with that theme. Or will we see them change it up? Nope, they, like the Uther, start getting his support.
So Uther comes out. Previously for SOA, it was Dahaka and Greymane opener. Did I say support Genji? I meant top 3 pick.
Yeah, top 3 picks and bans. We know what you meant. It's all good. So, what are we going to see from SOA this time? I do like that the RPG does ban out the Ariel a lot of the time, seeing as it's not their style. The Ariel's not the best support to go with a melee assassin, so they don't pick it. They like their Li Ming too, so they just ban out the support they're not going to use that much.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to deal with that pesky infinite sustain Ariel Tassadar comp, which so many Chinese teams are very good at. Long duration, long draw out of that consideration for the first 2 picks. This time, Arthas. And I think they should have done that last game, but they played it really well with Tyrael Abathur, so no real complaints about that. But logical to see Arthas coming out, as Uther generally tries to enable melee assassins. RPG is known for their melee assassins, and Arthas is really good against those.
Indeed he is. So, bringing out the Arthas, very cool to see here. Now, are they going to be able to get as much value? They're pre-picking it because they know Chicken's hero pool. Chicken plays melees. So you pick the thing that is good against melees.
Yeah, exactly. So Arthas to preempt that. Now, consideration is, do you still get Illidan? Divine Shield will momentarily bypass all of the Arthas root effects. And of course, any good Illidan player will focus the most high priority target, as we did see RPG do last game, going straight for the Rhaegar. But it is going to be more of a map control composition with Stitches, great wave clear with the slam build, and Falstad with the global fly. Able to push lanes, get a little bit more XP before ultimately joining that team fight, presumably with Mighty Gust to reset bad team fights or to provide isolation together with Hook and Gorge. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hinterland's Blast. I mean, I'm starting to get acclimated to the Chinese meta sometimes and talent picks.
We still very rarely see Hinterlands, but it's possible. It's a good bit of burst follow-up to the Hook, like you said. Could work out here. It's a bit more ability, power, damage to start burning through that Arthas. Wouldn't hate it. Would not hate it, but Gust is also a really good disengage to get away from Arthas when he inevitably messes up your stuff.
Yeah, that can be a nice choice. I like Lucio a lot with Arthas. His general power level is a little bit low right now, maybe. Until maybe we see him being employed again to great effect. But I don't think we see a lot of Lucio these days. He is design-wise great, though, with Arthas. Giving him bonus movement speed, allowing him to chase down people. Removing Arthas' greatest weakness, that of a slow, lumbering machine. It's going to be Rhaegar and Anubarak.
Yeah, the Abathur would have been another hero as well, though, who could have been exceptionally good with that Arthas. Great comboing those two together makes Arthas immensely difficult to kill. But the Anub Rhaegar, very, very nice as well. That gives them ability power sustain. It gives them auto attack sustain. So they are covered in most of their areas at this point.
Yeah, lots of crowd control effects. And it is going to be Illidan coming out again. Single support against Arthas, nonetheless Illidan. And paired up with Tychus, the ranged assassin tank buster supreme of this game.
Yep, welcome to RPG. This is what they like to do. They always play a melee assassin. I would have maybe preferred a different one in this particular case, but Illidan still good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just a thing for them. They use the global hunt to apply split pressure and join the team fight. Yeah. And we can be pretty sure that Illidan is going to be employed to hunt on Rhaegar. And he cannot self-cleanse. What's that?
Worked last time.
Yeah.
Rhaegar, one of the most solid support, but he's also one of the most vulnerable as himself, because everyone else, all the other supports, their self-sustained heroics can be used on themselves. Rhaegar, I believe, is the only support who can't actually protect himself with his abilities, other than his regular heal.
Well, Morales cannot stim drone herself, which is a kind
true.
of
can medevac.
It's
also,
a kind of
she can stim drone herself at level 20.
Yeah, but not at level 10. You can't stim to use that movement speed to get away.
Very true. That'd be a good idea. So, but yes, everyone else, Uther can divine shield himself. Even Levy's jug can hit herself.
No, you're quite right. Indeed, that Rhaegar is one of the more vulnerable supports. So, Zul coming out here is interesting. We just had a patch yesterday. They took away Ursamal. They just had a patch yesterday, and Zul has received a rework. He is not like what he used to be. The Necromancer of Diablo 2 now has a completely different talent tree. His values aren't changed that much, like damage and HP, but his talent tree is different. And I think it's for the better. We're going to have to wait and see how the win rate pans out, but we are on live patch with the exception that Stukov is not yet allowed. Zul now coming out is very exciting. He used to be seen as one of the #1 counters to Illidan, since he has an attack speed slow, and that is so powerful against Illidan. Well, let's see how it plays out. It is a very heavy front line for SOA here. Anubarak, Arthas, Rhaegar, and Zul. That's 4 melee.
It gives them a lot of extra aggression potential. See if they're able to utilize it well as we load into our game number 2. This is going to be on Sky Temple with our team on the left. Currently, in terms of the bracket, in position number 6, it is going to be Start Over Again, aka SOA, with Fei on the Zul, Uncle G, Tank Ovo, Spark BZ, and Shy.
There's actually a 5 melee team, with if you count Greymane as well. On the right side here, in map 2, it's going to be RPG with Chicken, Wang, SA, Infinity, and Loktar. They're going to be the red team. They are leading 1-0 right now in this best of 2. And here we are on Sky Temple.
Temple it is. And this time, Illidan takes Immolation. Much larger map this time. Could really use that extra that extra wave clear. So does take that up so we can split push a little bit more efficiently.
Uther with the Holy Light, being able to reach the deep diving Illidan from much farther away. Kind of nice. Can also be used as a finisher on Rhaegar if he gets away with little life. Just a thought. If he gets Holy Shock at 4 instead of Holy Fire.
Very true. We'll keep an eye on that, see if he does do so. But now, we're seeing the teams not really rotating. We're actually seeing just a full lane setup. Falstad is 1v1ing Zul in the bot lane. Not the most ideal of lane setups, but he's ranged, so he's not going to do terribly.
Yeah. Zul now picking that Shade, not the Shackler like we saw before. Still have teams coming to terms with how Zul exactly can and should be played, or could be played. Shade will be the auto attack block. Great against the team here of RPG. Illidan, Falstad, Tychus, all very relevant auto attackers. It does put his bone armor on a... Feral launch into the hook. It does put his bone armor on a 50-second cooldown, up from 30 though. So he can't use it nearly as often.
Yeah, much less sustained, but a good amount of damage blocked when you activate it for the first time. So you gotta really time it exceptionally well here. For now, we're seeing Chicken continuing to clear up, but Arthur's putting the pressure on. Doesn't have that level 4, so he's not gaining stacks, but he is still zoning Illidan out of it. And
he did get 1 stack, the Howling Blast, getting the bonus range, the path of travel, and what is it? The cooldown reduction of 2 seconds. 3 quest components. He needs to hit Howling Blast 20 times in order to get it. And there we go with that lingering slow at level 4.
Yeah, wants to try and build up those stacks. It's going to be an exceptionally good ability to use on Illidan. So very nice to see that. Once again, looks like we're sticking with the W build.
Nice escape.
Zul, yeah, using the boss knockback, the objective knockback, sorry, to give himself a bit of disengage. But Nubrak coming in, getting the double 3-man stun, but they're not able to capitalize off it.
Yeah, actually, it is very much a legit strategy to use the Temple stun as an escape. It is damage, it is a small stun, but most of all, it's giant amount of displacement, and Stitches would have absolutely died without it, so pretty cool. Uther not going with the Holy Shock, getting the Holy Fire, more wave clear, highlighting RPG's macro plan.
Yeah, very cool to see. So Shy just clearing up that bruiser camp for SOA, whereas Faye dealing with the camp that was stolen by RPG in the bot lane, and then continuing to put the pressure back on. Both teams rotating, just grabbing mercenaries, and continuing to soak all the lanes.
Once again, the Cursed Strike build for Zul, getting the cooldown reduction on Cursed Strikes at level 4. I must assume that he will use that at every tier, level 7 and 13, getting that full sweeping strike, Cursed Strike talent synergy. For the rest, all standard, all around. Let's look at the map. No forts have really been taken out yet, level 7 apiece. Early siege giant camp, which forces SOA to come down and defend. They already have their bruiser, whereas RPG is deliberately delaying it. Get the camp! No, that's deliberate. They want to be able to capture that at the same time as the bottom temple becoming available to create a split in attention and prioritization for SOA. He grabs it now, upon which you'll see the attempt to clear the blue bruiser camp. And then right as that is cleared, RPG can come down. But I don't think one Illidan is enough to kill this. They need more people, and here we go. Stitch's Tyke is coming up. In the meantime, I like what SOA is doing, applying heavy pressure as they know RPG's game plan, and they go bottom, they find a Falstad, and they kill him.
Yeah, but in revenge, RPG able to pick up Zul, way too far pushed up here with this camp, thanks to that Tychus and Stitch's roam. Nicely done by them. Tychus, by the way, I believe that's Relentless Soldier is the name of that talent, the level 7, so a bit of physical armor there for him.
I think it's armor all around, not just physical. I do believe it's 25 armor if you get stunned or rooted, which luckily for him, there is a lot of on the side of SOA.
Indeed. They've got Guardian of the Ancient Kings. There's several stuns from Anubarak, roots from Arthas, so they should get some good value here. And RPG completely abandoning that bottom temple, instead going for a push of their own with just their own auto attacks.
Yeah, that's a good play. So it is a very interesting play and counterplay situation. If you lose temple, you apply pressure somewhere else. The temple will get laser shots to take down a fort. Hey, maybe you can take down a fort simply with auto attacks and spells, so you even out, right? But SOA does the same thing. They say, we know your counterplan. We are also, in addition to the temple shots, going to apply vanilla pressure and kill another fort. So they are actually a fort ahead with the perfect boss cap timing as well. Level 10 versus 9.5 is safe. Level 10 versus 9.8 is not. SOA get the boss. They get the follow-up cocoon, which should be a free kill on Stitches.
They're going to try. Uther is in position. He doesn't have his heroic, though. So it is just going to be a kill onto Stitches just as the heroics hit. Just in time. Now that boss is going to be pushing in the bot lane. Poison Nova was used there by Zul. This also appears to be the preferable heroic nowadays. Coming in as opposed to the skeletal mages.
Yeah,
just lots of pressure on the bot lane.
Yeah, exactly. Poison Nova is quite a nice heroic against people that have to engage into you, but it's not as good against someone like Tychus and Falstad. Fairly easy to dodge. I'm actually surprised that we've seen Poison Nova twice in a row, as I do think Skeletal Mages is the better heroic. But I guess they feel they have enough slows.
Skeletons, so it gives you extra wave clear, because you get your skeletons can stay upgraded to poison skeletons.
Yeah, at level 20 you get the bonus damage on skeletons with the Poison Nova, whereas with the Skeletal Mages you can get bonus slow and slowing skeletons. So both is pretty good. D-shield on Stitches.
Shield, but body blocks, you can D-shield the CC, you can't D-shield the body blocks, but you can gust them. Cocoon was used as well, so that he's gorged into Arthas, but they're not able to lock him down to get the finishing blow.
Another fort down here is 5 forts versus 3. SOA doing so good, and this push is extremely valuable for many reasons. They force Illidan the Hunt to come out, which he did not use, therefore they do not have 5, therefore they cannot defend. I mean, that's the plan, right? You force enemy globals like the Hunt, like Falstad's Flight. By forcing them to come out, you then try to disengage, and then you stop the global XP soak. This is a lot of this is a strategy that on Hero League is very difficult to apply, but in competitive you see it over and over. Globals are strong, yes, but as soon as you push as 5 fingers to a fist, you cannot stop that with 3 fingers, 3 outstretched fingers. Have you tried it? It hurts. So you bring in the 5, fist versus fist, then you go away, and then you've cancelled their global for a minute. And they get a fort out of that as well. That means that laser shots are directly going to keep structures, which is normally very hazardous to attack into.
It is. So, cool to see. I also love your logic of dealing with a fist by punching it. That is some fun logic, but I can see what you meant. We do see RPG grabbing their Bruiser Camp. Rhaegar doing the same for SOA, able to do it with less people. Rhaegar and Greymane able to finish that off quite quickly.
The new Zul with the full Karsus strike build. He now has the healing at 7, the cooldown reduction at 4, and the extra attack speed at 13. It's going to be pretty crazy. Watch him sweep that scythe as he harvests the bodies of his opponents in RPG. Of course, RPG is going to try not to line up for that too much.
And wow, yeah, they clear out those minions very quickly. So lots of skeletons. Giving a little bit more, taking a little bit more time. Noob coming in, looks for Uther. Uther just juking all the abilities, but the hook also not landing. Both these teams are looking for picks at this point. They're on even talents.
Yeah, just 4% ability, power, damage, and HP lead. Every level gives you 4%, 2 levels 8.16%, and so on and so forth. So it is nice to fight a level up, but it's not good enough, except if you also get good positioning. So as soon as Anubarak missed his stuns, that's time to get out. Now equal levels. RPG is working to stem the flow of minion waves and marks all across the map. Illidan is still top lane. But SOA is not giving them time to get the double siege camp, and this is very scary. Keep his half-life. Illidan needs to come over. He needs to at least be in position to the hunt.
Quickly.
He's not even in position to hunt. They're forfeiting the keep at the equal talents. I mean,
they're
Gus
using Odin. They're going to try and zone this by the looks of it. They've already dropped the Odin to siege down those mercenaries. They're going to try and get a kill. Illidan has moved down. He's now in position to hunt. The cocoon is dropped. Hunt is used onto Rhaegar, trying to finish him off. The Ancestral lands on Rhaegar, keeping him alive as the Divine Shield expires on Chicken. So they are going to be able to save this keep, with neither team able to pick up a kill.
The hunt on Rhaegar is the right choice in most circumstances. But when Greymane was gorged and you use double heroic on Greymane and he gets away with 10% life, you gotta shake your head a little bit at that the hunt.
Yeah.
Had he saved it for Greymane, it secures the kill, they can do the follow-up. Unfortunate for unfortunate for RPG here. But they do save their keep.
They do, in fact, save the keep as RPG continuing to move in. Focusing Tankovo, hunting onto him. No Ancestral available. They are able to pick up that kill. As you see RPG continuing to move forward, looking for more. They want Rhaegar, killing off that healing totem very quickly. Greymane also getting dropped low. Zul is now the focus. He has Shade active, though, keeping himself alive. Roots Illidan. And never mind, I was about to say he gets out, but nice double stun there by Sar. Illidan able to pick up the kill.
Nobody gets out alive. RPG with the double kill here, getting the double temples as well. The turnaround that they needed. This is temple shots on the bottom fortifications, so it's not the most hurtful for SOA. They are still ahead structurally, but given that we had a lot of global XP for RPG, you can see, now that RPG is conquering the pocket XP, as it were, the pocket XP in structures that they hadn't killed yet, and that's roughly equal, you can see that they're ahead in level now. Oh, yeah. Wow, Cocoon and Cursed Bullet.
Yeah, not ideal, but the boss still not leashed. They're letting it go, but now Illidan is a little bit out of position. He can use the boss to jump to freedom, gets the Divine Shield, they turn onto a noob. Ancestral lands, though, a noob staying alive. And Greymane dropping some great damage from the side. That's such because the boss was not leashed. It is still takeable. SOA attempting to do so. Hooking a noob out of the boss stun, actually, as the Poison Nova is dropped. Illidan taking huge amounts of damage with no Divine Shield available. They're letting the boss go, and Illidan may go down as well. Yes, he does. Falstad only just now able to fly down due to using his fly earlier to go to top temple.
So Zul comes in and he says, I've got a poison name with your name on it, a poison nova with your name on it. He turns it on and RPG suddenly loses the will to fight. But the question is, where is Falstad during all this? You take the fight without the #1 boss control hero, Falstad with Gus. Interesting decision, as their bottom keep is already low. The temple there calling out to RPG. Greedily, they consume its charges, but now they're in a position where they may lose the game.
Yeah, SOA looking to end here. Boss with over half health. Gorge is available. Gust isn't. They don't have that zoning material they need. A noob is gorged, actually not taken down, but the core is dropped. And that is GG. SOA taking the game and bringing the score to a 1-1, meaning both these teams get a single point.
Yeah, very nice victory here for SOA. They played it out really nicely. The first competitive Zul victory as well since his rework. It worked out, the full Cursed Strike build with Poison Nova. A few mistakes here and there from both of the teams, but in the end, the very important boss prioritization with the key Ancestral healing hitting on Anubarak, who was isolated away by Stitches with the Tychus minigun. SOA saves the moment, and they will win that second map to make it a 1-1. And I have daylight breaking through my window. I'm so sorry to have such a reality check here. Let me close the window.
That's all good. But nicely done by SOA. They saw their opportunity at the end. They were a little bit behind. They saw their opportunity to take that boss, and they took it. With Falstad already having used his fly, they got outplayed. Falstad was not available for that fight where he was super needed.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Good job by them.
Wow, daylight is pretty bright, would you say?
I've heard that the light can be bright, yeah.
Yeah, especially the sun. You'll find that it's fairly brighter than most light sources.
True. I've heard you should not look at it. There can be negative side effects associated with such an action.
But it is beautiful. Anyway, so was this match, and I'm pretty excited, Titcher, because we are about to go into the third match of the day, which is CE versus E-Star. Two of the top 3 teams in China right now. This match was amazing too, though. Like, if this is anything to go by, the next one could possibly be even more high level, even more exciting. We'll see. This is the HGC China.
Yeah, last time these two teams played against each other, it went to a 1-1. However, we do have to remember that this is when they had Tumi. Tumi is currently away ill, so they are using their substitute / manager / coach FZ, aka the player who used to be Soap for Team Kiss. However, the first time they played with him, it was a little bit wonky, but he has been looking better and better, especially if eStar can get FC onto a Tyrael, in which case he looks pretty good. So the question is, how comfortable are they with him? Can they once again equal the score of last time and bring out that 1-1? Or is this slight change in lineup going to give CE the edge and allow them to take a 2-0?
Remains to be seen. We have had a bit of a shuffle up sometimes.
It's always when you least expect it.
Yeah. MVP, Spark, BZ, but yeah, it remains to be seen. It is difficult for eStar having that roster shuffle now and then, but they are still a team with name power. That means that most likely they will try to do whatever they can to keep a very strong roster intact, no matter what happens. It's nice that they do have that replacement in FZ. We'll see how it plays out. Very even game, not too many kills this game, lots of global actions, lots of avoiding each other.